Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about how to make your high notes powerful. And I want to make this video as densely packed with information as possible. So we're going to do it in points. So point number 1, openness. What do I mean by openness? Well, you need the cavities in your body that resonate, that receive and then amplify and resonate the sound to be as open as possible. That means that what you don't want is strain and tension of the unwanted muscles that will block it. So any tension here under the jaw, in your chin, in your tongue, we don't want that, and it's really important to disengage that in order for the sound to be powerful. Now, what you might not know is that anytime there is, for example, this muscle gets engaged, this is kind of a chain reaction. This muscle gets engaged, your larynx shoots up immediately. And suddenly there's no space for the sound to resonate and your voice becomes very thin and small. So we don't want that. We want to get rid of strain and tension as quickly as possible so that we can then go into other things and we can explore our voice in other ways and make our voice bigger and better. And we need to eradicate any form of unwanted strain and tension to do it. Point number 2, vocal cord closure. Now what might happen is that when you actually get rid of the strain and tension in your voice, you may find that suddenly your vocal cord closure is gone. This might happen to you. It happened to me because when you have the strain and tension in your voice, for example, here, there can be muscles outside of your larynx contracting and kind of helping you squeeze the vocal cords together. Once you get rid of that, suddenly you need to rely on the right muscles to keep the vocal cords close together. And those muscles, they don't know the right coordinations and they are not strong enough yet to actually do that. So we need to train them. A good way to train these muscles are staccato exercises. Because it actually helps you feel very well which muscles are in use. So very little air and just go on a low volume. Different larynx position, feel how your vocal cords come together when you do that. And you want to train that. You can use a little bit of vocal fry. Is this sound very low? This kind of gravelly sound. Like you just woke up. And you can incorporate this sound into the staccato. To give you even more edge into the sound. And then you can climb, you can experiment with this to see how cord closure works in different parts of your voice. The voice remains open, there's no tension and strain anymore, and suddenly we've also got vocal cord closure engaged. Then once you get comfortable with that, you can move into legato sounds. Once again, we're not going for a pretty sound here. We're looking for vocal cord closure. With the voice remaining open, the sound small but solid. When you're comfortable with the legato sounds with a little bit of vocal fry, you can move into a fuller sound. You want to remain open. You want your vocal cords to remain closed. And you get a pretty big solid sound up top. And that leads us to number 3. And number 3 is breath support. There are no big notes up high without breath support. And breath support is something that works a little counterintuitively. So you might think that the bigger and more dramatic and higher the note is, there's more and more air that you need to use. And that is not true. You actually need less and less and less air as you go higher. What you need more of is vocal compression and breath pressure below the vocal cords. So we need less and less and less air, but we need more compression and breath pressure. What does it mean? Your vocal cords come together really close as you go higher and higher and higher. That creates a lot of breath pressure here. Now, if you just simply breathe out the normal amount of air, it will either blow the vocal cords apart, or the amount of air that's going out is going to irritate and perhaps in some time even damage your vocal cords. So we don't want that. Instead, as the vocal cords come closer and closer and closer together, we limit the amount of air that we breathe out. And then what happens is a very nice amount of breath pressure is kept here, but not enough to blow the vocal cords apart. So as you go higher, I'm actually using less and less and less air. And that's something that you need to work on. But the vocal cords are getting closer and closer and closer together. You need to balance these things out. And number 4, vowels. There are no big sounds without proper vowels. If you splat your vowels, the sound becomes very small and thin. Even though my mouth is really open, you might think that the sound should become bigger. That's actually not true. For practicing high notes, we want to actually keep the vowels narrow. So as you go higher, with for example an A vowel, you want to keep the vowel narrow in order for it to cross very nicely with the resonance into your head, and then the sound can retain the chesty quality that it has on the bottom. So as you practice, you don't want to open your vowels too much. You want to keep them narrow. That can make them ring out very nicely and keep that chesty, low voice quality as you climb higher. So I hope this was helpful for you. Subscribe to my channel. If you've got any questions, then definitely leave them down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.